Welcome to quarter 3. Half-time refresh. It was all of 5 seconds. We're ready to go
Got
again.
the oranges in.
Steve, what have I told you about giving away our secrets?
5 seconds. Well, I get everything wrong. Who knows?
The man behind
in
the
Steve's
curtain.
world, 5 seconds could be 5 hours. In other people's world, I don't know. Right, I'll shut up. Could have done that any worse if I tried.
Oh,
so we're back. We're back in our new small format world. We've had a couple episodes now where we went through the AFC North. We're now going to turn attentions to the AFC South. Quarter 3 is going to be all about transactions that happen within the division and a quick 2-second take on the teams as we go through. And then we'll be back in quarter 4 for the position rankings.
Yep.
There was too much pauses there, but
So, AFC South, teams in this division, Steve.
Houston Texans.
your Houston Texans.
My Houston Texans. Indianapolis Colts. My Indianapolis Colts. No.
Stephen House with
all my
Jacksonville Jaguars.
And then finally the Tennessee Titans, who
Who are actually going to be Steve's team.
They are going to be.
Right,
Enjoy that, Steve.
Spoiler alert. Houston Texans. So, do you know what? When I was having a wee dig through what they did with their roster, they haven't done an awful lot of movement. They've lost Kevin Johnson, who was a cornerback, who they picked up on out of the draft, first round draft pick of one. Or was it Kevin Jackson? Maybe it's Kevin Jackson.
Kevin Jackson.
5 years ago.
Was it? No, it's Johnson.
Johnson, was right.
You're right.
About 5 years ago now, and he's been pretty solid for them, but it was just one of these business, they just didn't want to pay him the mega bucks deals, so they just let him walk. They took Bradley Roby in from Denver.
Yep, that's a good move.
And what I noticed today, which I didn't realise, they signed Matt Khalil to help with the O-line. Now, their O-line has been absolutely dreadful.
Yep.
And it's the only thing that really cost them major issues last season.
Yep.
So picking that up actually is quite a big win. They obviously lost out in the draft with not getting the boy who ended up going to the Eagles, because the Eagles jumped to get him. I forget his name, but and then went deep into somebody they should have picked up in round 2 and took him in.
Titus Howard was who they
Titus
drafted.
Howard, yes.
And a lot of people had him as a low-end second rounder.
Yeah.
So,
it's just snapped
and
in
at
the
this
first
point,
round, but they
there
needed
was
the help.
still Williams. No, not Williams. Shit, what was the name of the guy that the Jags drafted? The Drags? The Drags drafted.
Allen. Didn't they
No.
get Josh Allen?
No.
Pick 7. Sorry, what are we talking about?
Reset. The 2019 draft, I was talking about how there was a better offensive lineman still on the board. The one that the Jags picked up this year in the second round. Why can I not? I'm going to have to Google it.
I know who you're talking about.
He was expected to go in the top 10, but he fell. Oh my god, this is really
Was it
embarrassing.
the Alabama boy?
Yeah.
What's his name though? We're a bit rusty.
He
You
had the
can tell.
guy that
We've
was
had a
in the
few
green
years
room
out.
and then came
Yes.
back in day 2.
Yes.
I can't remember his name either.
But you remember walking out on stage.
Wait.
10 out of 10 effort for
Jawan Taylor.
Jawan, that was it. Your lights don't work.
Jawan Taylor. So yeah, sorry, that was a little bit of rust from us there. Jawan Taylor. So he was expected to go in the top 10 in our mock draft. I had the Jags taking him with their first round pick.
Pick 7.
At pick 7.
Yeah, and they took him in round 2.
Yeah. So the fact that
It's really good value.
the fact that the Texans chose Howard over
Even him.
Yeah, which is a bit crazy. So, but you're right. They identified that they had to fix their offensive line.
Yep.
And they've made 2 moves to do that.
To help with that.
What
It
about-
really is it's the major issue that they need to fix, because as long as you've got some O-line, Deshaun Watson will be okay, because he got battered. I think he got
He got
something
destroyed.
like 52,
But then part of that was down to
5
him
sacks.
as well, wasn't it? Like
Because he's a bit scatty, he held on too long, yeah. So the O-line will help that. They do have the question mark over Jadeveon Clowney. What's going to happen with him? He's already said he's not coming in pre-season at all. He will arrive just before the season starts. It makes sense though, because he's on the 1-year franchise tag. He doesn't want to get injured at any point during training camp. He just wants to wait and play the games.
Do you think that he is able to be kept long term? My heart says no.
I don't know what's their situation. So Deshaun Watson's got to be not far away from
2. I think they can get another
Is
year out of
he-
his rookie deal, and then they have to re-up him
Yeah.
a season later. But playing devil's advocate 2 seasons from now, I don't know if superstar JJ Watt
is still in the
will
league.
still be there, and he will his 20 million a year or whatever will just go to Watson.
That's true.
So moving the money.
Maybe they can make it work. Have to be some clever accounting.
The salary cap will
They
jump
always
over
make
the
it
next
work.
2 seasons
If
anyway.
they want to make it
but
work,
I get
they
your
always
point.
make it work.
Yeah. They've said they wanted to keep him. It is how much. It's the number that just between the two teams they're just a bit too far apart.
Yep.
On to the Colts.
So the Colts
Yeah.
surprised us all last year, right?
Oh, well, it was the draft they had. I mean, Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard were just absolute
monsters.
superstars. at
Well,
their positions.
they lucked their way into a very good head coach last year.
Yep.
Because they obviously had
Josh
appointed
McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, who
Yes.
then backed out at the last minute. They were kind of left with not very many options because everyone else had then sorted their head coach positions.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up with Frank Wright, who's
By all accounts,
one of the
done a
best
brilliant
appointments
job.
actually
Oh,
from that
Yep.
that
easy.
year.
Easily.
So they got
And
lucky
all
there.
the players love him.
Yep.
He seems to be an absolute.
So he
Players,
schemed
coach.
Philadelphia to the Super Bowl. He
Yep.
was their offensive coordinator. And yeah, I think that was a really, fell into it as you sort of said, and it looks like they've got the best out of Andrew Luck under Reich so
Yep.
far.
Chris Ballard also, he's doing this very kind of Patriots-esque, dare I say, draft and develop and
Yep.
don't react. I mean, they had all the money in the world they could have thrown around in free agency, and
Yep.
they didn't. They waited to pick who they wanted, when they wanted, and get value from their saying that, they didn't actually pick up that much. The only names I even figured when I was scrolling through it, they got Devin Funchess,
Yep.
just helps that wide core a little
Yep.
bit. He's maybe not superstar level, but he should be solid enough to
yeah.
help out with
Like
with,
7 out of 10 sort of numbers.
Yeah, with Luck throwing the,
And he's about 7'10".
Yeah,
so.
he is literally about 7 out of 10.
and then
Justin
they
Houston.
got the Justin Houston sweepstakes, which was interesting because nobody really picked up on him, and they waited and waited, took their time, signed them. Under lost, I've just put anyone ? I genuinely don't know if they lost anyone of serious note. They re-upped a lot of key players last year, like Marcus Hunt, who kind of flamed out in Cincinnati. He didn't do as well as he should have done, but actually had, by all accounts, a really solid season in Indianapolis. So they're building this really
Yep.
annoying team. Unless you like the Colts now, because you love it. But it could be one of these teams where 3, 4, 5 seasons from now we're like, and the Colts are going to steamroll the division again.
And most importantly, they drafted the player with the best name in the 2019 draft.
Rock Yassin.
Rock Yassin. Brought in. Most important thing. That's the
Yeah,
things that matter
it's
to
all
me.
about the names.
I didn't spend much going into the draft on who teams were picking up, which you can probably tell because I've forgotten names already. But I was
I've not
thinking more
suggested
because they're not
Rocky
trying.
as a baby name to my wife yet. I should maybe do that.
Rock Smith.
Yes, man. I do keep touting Equiminius after Equiminius
that's
St.
a
Brown.
good
Rocky
one.
would
but,
be better, but
Rocky Smith.
I think
That's
that's a,
happening.
that's a good ultimatum. You should give your wife, well, I'll either call it Rocky or Equiminius. You choose.
That's
She's
good
involved in
choice.
the decision, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the only other thing I thought I'd quickly add on the Colts was there was an article on the NFL website talking about Paris Campbell, who they drafted. And
Speedy wide receiver.
yeah, so I think that was one of the things that they were missing. Ty does a little bit of everything, but Paris Campbell can take
If
the
he's
top
your
off.
true, absolute stretch the field guy, actually means Hilton can focus more on his route running
Yep.
and doing more maybe like what Nuck Hopkins would do
Yep.
at the Texans.
And that obviously means Marlon Mack can be even more effective, so the balance that they've got looks pretty
And
good.
you've got that out option to the big man Devin Funchess
Yeah.
as well, so it looks balanced
Yeah.
to me.
Have we
T.Y.
got-
Hilton, I think, is an underrated receiver.
He is.
He doesn't get talked about
No.
as much as he should. He was
Yes.
banged up a lot towards the end of last year and still put up some
Crazy
really
numbers.
good numbers.
Mhm.
So yeah, they've got a real star guy there.
Steve, where are we going next?
Let's go Florida. So Jacksonville.
It's too hot down there.
It's hot in here.
It
Take
really
off all your
is.
clothes.
Do you know
Get
what?
it
Consider
out
what
of
we've had the
here.
last few weeks in Bonnie, Scotland, i.e. 30. What were we getting? I mean, it's just ludicrous numbers.
Yeah.
For
Melting.
what we get here.
Melting
Melting hot.
Taps at
There's about 3 listeners that have got that. Everyone else is like, what are you on about? Yeah, down to Jacksonville. So they obviously, inverted commas, won the off-season sweepstakes of who was picking up Nick Foles.
Yep.
That is the big.
Won or lost the off-season by drafting.
Oh, well, this is an interesting one. And I'll be waiting to see. Obviously, it depends how he transitions. If you've got anything near what he was able to do in Philly, that's, the amount of money you paid him is just...
So, career to date, Nick Foles is a guy that turns up in the pressure situations, but when the entire season is on him, he collapses.
Yes.
And I don't see that pattern changing.
The one positive for Foles, I guess, to be balanced, is they brought in John DeFilippo. Great name.
Yeah.
Again, let's make sure we get that part in.
Yeah.
DeFloppo,
Yeah.
I believe was the...
Filippo Faloppo.
Yeah.
That was an episode name, remember?
This is
Yep.
11 or something like that, if I can remember.
And that was the one without Gav.
What was it?
I think it was, yeah.
And I'm glad that you kept up the name theme, because that's important to me. So the Jags draft was pretty good. We just spoke about it when our brains eventually kicked in and remembered. Well, I say remembered, used the power of the internet to find the name Joanne Taylor.
Yeah.
Joanne Taylor and Josh Allen. I think a lot of people had Allen going in the top 3 of the draft picks.
Yeah.
So they got him at 7.
Yep.
And then they got Taylor in the second round, who was in people's top 10s.
Yep.
So by all accounts,
They
they've
got
had
massive
a really,
value on their top 2 picks.
Yeah.
They really did.
Easy.
Already, which is quite a scary team. They just looked like they had a bad year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they totally did have a bad year. I mean, they've only, defensive-wise, they only really lost Milik Jackson, I think, but I don't know if he was actually even playing at the level he used to. He was just taking his money and doing
mercenary.
Standard stock minimum.
Okay.
Tashawn Gibson left, but again, he isn't one of their superstars.
No.
So you can kind of survive the loss of them too, I think.
Yep.
Offensively, Carlos Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost. I don't even know who they're running back because there's obviously
Leonard
Fournette.
So he was just banged up last year, right? So if he's healthy, then
that's all right.
Alfred Blue from the Texans divisional.
That's who they picked up as a sort of backup for them. Interestingly, Terrell Pryor's getting another shot at wide receiver with them this season. He got signed not so long ago, but fairly recently.
That'll be interesting. I guess a lot comes down to what do they get from Jalen Ramsey, because he looks like a superstar but also a disruptive superstar.
Well, when he arrived in his
armoured
truck with the bags of money and his own guy announcing in the megaphone, "Pay this man, he deserves every penny you got." All that stuff. It was hilarious.
Heroic.
Would you trade him if you got a trade offer in? Just based on his
first and third and not have to pay him? Yep.
I think so
You know
too.
what I mean? If you think about the way you're building a roster and the fact that you've just given all that money to Foles and you know you've got that now for the next couple of years, solves your problem you're going to have to figure out next season. Because they're going to have to pay him between now and next off season. Otherwise, he's gone.
Yeah.
So
I would trade him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then that takes us on to the
Steve's
Tennessee always
Titans.
the quiet team of the division, the Tennessee Titans. They seem to have done nothing for about a decade now.
They just signed Ryan Tannehill.
Sorry, blockbuster news there.
To be back up to, so they signed. So they've got. I like Marcus Mariota. He's just been really unfortunate with injuries or whatever. So to replace,
he's not done a full season since his rookie season.
So he's been unfortunate with injuries. So what they did was they got another quarterback that's always injured. Back up.
So who's backing up Tannehill when they're both injured?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's find
Gav
out.
will go and find out. So who they did sign though, Kenny Vaccaro, who they had last
that's a
season
good
anyway on
move.
the 1 year deal, they've re-upped him and managed to keep him around. They brought in Cameron Wake, which was an interesting one because he's 37.
But he had a good year with the Dolphins.
Yeah,
didn't
and he got 2 years at like 20 million or so. He got some decent money for going there. Roger Saffold, they made one of the highest paid guards in the league, and they brought in Adam Humphries over from Tampa Bay.
Adam Humphries
actually
did good,
4 really good signings for them.
Yeah.
And they were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they were.
Yes, they were.
Vrabel got them in there on his first season, which I thought Vrabel would struggle. I want to say they were. I'm really, but then who did they lose in the wildcard round? I'm so
They were
confused.
definitely there the year before.
Because Munchak.
No, they weren't. They weren't in it. They weren't in it. It was the
round,
Colts and the Texans.
No, right, good. Okay,
Yes.
that's fine. Right, I'll shut
So
up.
you've gone senile. But the
Surprise,
year before they
surprise.
were in it.
Munchak, and then he got fired.
Yeah.
Munchak?
No.
Or was it the other one? It's the other one. That's Malarkey.
Mike Malarkey, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Mike Munchak, Mike Malarkey.
Is it still Gavert that's backing up the backup? Or
No, it's a guy called Logan Woodside who they signed from the Alliance League, so that's positive.
Blockbuster.
Yeah. The one thing like you just said though, Steve, their offensive line is awesome and I love it so much.
Oh,
Jack Conklin, Taylor Lewan.
Taylor Lewan, sorry. He's got a 4-game suspension starting the season.
He'll be even angrier when he comes back.
Yeah. He put a post out on social media about it, and I know he kind of. I mean, I don't always do this. It's just, I don't know what I'm talking about. Surprise, surprise. But anyway, I genuinely believed he was unaware that he had took the substance, because he says, "I totally admit it's my fault. I've taken it. I was unaware it was in this product, and that it's me. I've got to bear the brunt of that." And he was in tears and everything, and he was because he'd let down the team and whatever. So I genuinely believe that this is one where they have taken something without realising.
Yeah,
but it's going to take us 4 games. It's going to take us 4 games on the chin and get on with it. But it's a loss for 4 games for them because he is a bit of a monster.
Oh, he's an absolute demon, and I'm a huge fan of him.
One of your heroes.
But they lost Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
To
Green Bay
Packers. So it'll be interesting to see how their offense adapts to, again, as we spoke about, new schemes. It'll be really interesting. I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens with LaFleur as well. So
very tight division. I think it'll be interesting to see how we're going to place them in the next episode.
Good segue. So that sums up our the transactions in this division and brings us to the end of quarter 3. And listen to us tomorrow, because you're clearly listening to us the day that these are released. Not saving them all up for one binge listen, where we will discuss where these guys are going to finish in quarter 4.